Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to another Muslimi Meets. I'm Ashley Pearson Khan. I'm here with Sister Idil, and today we're sitting down to talk to Esma Hussein. You might know her from Instagram as Ruqaya's Bookshelf. So happy to chat with you. I'm a book lover, so anytime we can throw books into the mix, I'm happy.
Well, I think it's safe to say that I am as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I started reading from a young age and have loved it ever since. So I just want to know about you and your Instagram and Ruqaya's Bookshelf and how that was born.
How long do you have? So this is actually kind of a long story, but I'll shorten it for you guys.
Okay.
My field is actually social work. And so I've always loved writing since I was a kid, since I was a teen, but I never thought that I would do anything with that skill. And it just so happened that life events kind of took me that way. Even though I had my master's in social work, there was like a certain passion for writing that just stuck with me. And I think a lot of people say that when you have an idea that sticks with you, you don't ignore it. If it's one of those
Right.
things that like keeps coming back over
Yeah.
and over, and this was one of those things.
It's a passion.
And it actually all started with a course that I took with Sheikh Muhammad Sharif, may Allah have mercy on him,
I mean,
called Visionaire. And in that course, he takes us through a lot of kind of goal setting exercises and stuff. And I realized while I was doing it that, writing is really important to me.
Yeah.
And even kids' books are really important to me. I didn't even realize this before. And so slowly over time, the idea just got bigger and bigger in my head. And I finally thought of this name, Ruqaya's Bookshelf, because my daughter's name is Ruqaya. And I had these ideas for these books and they just came to me and I just started the journey. I'm like, let's see where this goes. And alhamdulillah, with Allah's blessing and barakah, we've gotten places. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, you have.
We're going
Yeah.
probably into our 8th or 9th year now.
Mashallah.
So alhamdulillah. It's just something I've always loved and I never thought I would do anything with it, but this is where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took me,
Yeah,
I think sometimes you have to just be open to where Allah takes you.
absolutely.
Exactly.
And not close yourself off to the potential of what things can become, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So I want to talk to you about like reference, right? For me, I always say for the sake of reference. Everything I do, I try to do it for the sake of reference. And what I mean by that is, you started something that is important for the Muslim Ummah, for the little human beings that are, up and coming. And also naming it after your daughter too. It's legacy for her, but we're making it cool. We're making literacy cool, right? We're making illustrations cool. We are making it cool to also, own our own stories, right? And have books that look like us. Little girls need to see little girls that wear hijab, and cartoons that we can say, wow, like she has a Muslim name, or, this little boy has a Muslim name. So, how important is that for you to create reference for these little human beings when sometimes in their own libraries, they don't see this. They don't have this in their school. But to create that is something that's so important.
SubhanAllah, that's a great question. I think, and maybe it was your experiences growing up as well. But for me, when I was growing up, I saw nothing that had Muslim characters in it.
Yeah.
Like almost, and the ones that I did see that had Muslim characters were not great representations, right? I might remember maybe one story from when I was a kid that had like positive Muslim representation. And I made a decision early on in my daughter's life that I don't want her to grow up in that same way.
Exactly.
I think that seeing people in books and movies and cartoons and all kinds of media that look like you, that ascribe to your same identity, that have the same beliefs as you, is such an identity booster,
Exactly.
right? It makes you feel like you're not always the odd one out. Your identity is valid. Your identity is beautiful. It's something to be celebrated,
Absolutely.
right? And so for me, that's kind of the space that I want to be in. I just want to celebrate our stories.
Yeah.
It's really just about creating Muslim culture,
Yeah.
right? Creating a reference
Yeah.
point, creating a place where kids can just feel like I'm Muslim. This is normal.
Yeah.
This is celebrated, not just normal, not tolerated.
Exactly.
It's celebrated.
Yeah.
And I wish that I grew up
Yeah.
like that,
Yeah.
right? And alhamdulillah, it was a different time. But now we see Ruqaya's Bookshelf and we see so many authors and so many publishing like up and coming publishing companies, and it's really a wonderful thing to see. And I want our community to get to a point where there's so many books and so many cartoons and
Yeah.
so many movies and so
Yeah.
many everything that people have a hard time choosing what to
They don't
buy
even
and
know.
what to access.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So hopefully, inshallah, it will get to that point.
Imagine
starting,
young
we're
children
starting.
saying
Yeah.
like, have a whole book collection, like, you know, and it's something that they're proud of.
Yeah.
You know, and then they'll teach their kids, and then their kids will teach their kids, and then
Yeah.
there you go. You know, some people say they want to change the narrative. You're actually changing the narrative, you know, with
Alhamdulillah.
Ruqayya's bookshelf, mashallah. And you know, may Allah make that easy for you.
I mean,
And may Allah make it even bigger and better than you could ever imagine. Inshallah, we're gonna make that dua for you over and over. And so, is there anything that you want to share with us that maybe was challenging for you during this process of creating Ruqayya's bookshelf?
for me, I started at literally zero.
Okay.
I didn't know anything about
Yeah.
publishing,
Yeah.
but I had these ideas and they just wouldn't leave me. And I just took the time that I needed to take to really
Okay.
figure out what I want to do and where I want to go. And it always comes with challenges, right? When you're doing anything entrepreneurial,
Yeah.
when you're starting out in a field that doesn't have a lot of resources already, doesn't have a lot of mentors that can kind of sit with you, it is hard because you're kind of you're making it up as you go, right? And you're just hoping for the best, right? And so there were a lot of challenges. Like I don't even know which challenge to choose.
Yeah.
But alhamdulillah, like I think consistency is key to doing almost anything, right? If you're
Right.
willing to sit there and be consistent year after year,
Yeah.
what starts as something that's just a seed will grow into something massive, inshallah, with Allah's permission and blessings. So for me, like not that you asked me for advice,
Yeah.
but anytime
We want your advice.
Yeah.
We need your
Do it.
advice. Yeah.
anytime somebody's starting something, I tell them like you have to be willing to be patient and be consistent and take small
Absolutely.
steps. And we live in a world where we want everything to go viral.
Everything's
We
instant.
want everything
Yeah.
to go
That's true.
viral, but the
Yeah.
reality is most things do not go viral. It
Yeah.
takes time to build trust even in the
Yes.
Muslim community.
Hard work,
It
effort.
takes time for parents to trust you as a brand and think, okay, if I buy this book for my child, it's not going to have anything problematic in it. Because they're, the trust of a parent is something
Yeah.
important and it has to be
Yeah.
developed. And so you have to show that you're consistent and you're consistently putting out good work so you can gain that kind of, so you can become like an integral part of the community.
Exactly.
So patience and consistency.
So you talked about the challenges, and obviously you came from an area where you were like, this isn't what I was going to do with my life, but here I am, like Allah has paved this path for you. Was there a moment where you're like, wow, this is making a difference, or you had this kind of like aha moment for you?
I have those aha moments all the time.
Yeah.
That's good,
Alhamdulillah. So do you want to talk about kids' books or my adult books?
We want to
Whatever
talk about
you want to talk
everything.
about.
Yeah, everything?
Everything.
So even at this conference, walking around, there will be
Yeah.
parents who stop me and introduce me to their kids and be like, "This is Isma Hussein. This is
Oh
the
my
author
God.
of
Yeah.
Isma Soup, Mr. Gamal's Gratitude Glasses,
Yeah.
whatever it may be." And then like their eyes light up and they're like, "Wow, we're meeting an author." And for me, that's really special to have that place in the hearts and minds
That's
of
impact.
children.
Yeah.
So just to see that and to see that recognition in the eyes of children, that's really meaningful
Yeah.
to me. Alhamdulillah, like my writing for adults as well. Like I have people messaging me saying that I've really made an impact in their lives
Yeah.
and reminding people of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and stuff. Like it's very, very fulfilling. It's a very beautiful thing.
Yes.
So just hearing from people really makes a difference because writing is a very lonely field.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You're sitting at a computer or
Of
sitting at a
course.
notebook, like
Yeah.
and so that interaction with people, which is why, by the way, COVID was super hard
Yes.
because I didn't do school visits, I didn't do events, I didn't do
Yeah.
talks, and so I was just kind of sitting in a little room,
Stuck. Yeah.
stuck there,
Yeah.
like, is this work doing good or not?
Yeah,
So being in
right.
the community and just having people look you in the eye and tell you your work is making a difference, like
Yeah.
that means the world to me.
Yeah, we all need a village to remind us too, of where we're going, what we're doing, the impact, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Because when you do it, you're so focused on doing it, but everyone else is experiencing you and your work in a different capacity.
100%.
You're experiencing it as the person who's publishing it, the person who's putting it out. But everyone, from these little human beings to their parents, everyone has a different connection to your personal journey,
Yeah,
I think that's
and
amazing. Isn't that
very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Because you're right.
SubhanAllah.
We do like kind of just get stuck in our own little
Yeah.
bubble.
Yeah.
And I don't see what's outside of that bubble. So
Mhm.
when I do see it, I'm like, oh,
Yeah. Wow.
that's kind of awesome.
Yeah, you're shocking
Alhamdulillah.
yourself sometimes.
Alhamdulillah.
Mashallah. Do you have any advice for somebody who really wants to maybe get into the writing, get into the publishing, who maybe is a little scared and maybe feels like they don't have enough information of the how-to, but they have the aspiration?
I do have a lot of advice.
Okay.
A lot of advice. I would say read a lot.
Okay.
So just read in whatever area of writing you want to do, whether that's picture books or books for even adults, nonfiction, fiction, whatever it may be. Read a lot of books in that genre. That's number one. Number two, read about writing.
Mhm.
You know, when I
Yes.
first started, I read books about writing.
Yes.
And there's so many free resources out there. So many. But there's also writing courses that you can take, some in the Muslim community and some in the kind of the mainstream community. So definitely access, there's so many resources that can be accessed, but it just takes patience.
Yeah.
And what I always say about writing is that writing is a skill,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
A lot of people think, oh, I'm just not talented. That's not true.
That's not true. Yeah.
Writing is a skill that can
Yeah.
be developed like any other
Right.
skill that we have. And so there's a certain level of being intimidated that needs to
Yeah.
just be taken away,
Yeah.
right? That if you have a story to tell, and most of us do, many
Yes,
of us have
yeah.
stories to tell, our own stories. We're all experts in our own stories, right? And so we need those stories, and we need you to just have that little boost of confidence. Just put the pen to paper and
Yeah.
start.
Just go for it.
Just go for it.
Just go for it. Mashallah.
Well, before we let you go, we want to make sure everybody knows where to find you. We mentioned your Instagram, but maybe remind them, and then if you have a website or anything else that you want everybody to know.
Okay, so you can find all of the books on ruqayyasbookshelf.com.
Okay.
Find me on Instagram at ruqayyas.bookshelf,
Mhm.
and even find me on Facebook, Ruqayyas Bookshelf. I'm around.
Yeah.
I'm around.
She's around.
Awesome.
Make sure you guys follow her.
Yes.
Mashallah.
Thank you so much for sharing.
My pleasure.
Hopefully, we'll get to talk to you again sometime
Inshallah.
about what you're doing. Get some updates and stuff later on. But keep up the good work, and
Thank you so much.
you're an inspiration to a lot of people. You
Thank
did
you.
mention that you didn't have a lot of like mentors and stuff, and now you can do be that for someone else.
Yeah.
So that's
Inshallah.
amazing.
I
So
hope
thank
so.
you so much.
My pleasure.
All right. Thank you for watching. I hope that you were inspired by this podcast. Stay tuned for more from Muslimi, and we'll see you guys next time. Assalamu alaikum.